They laughed at you, mocked your kindness, mistook your silence for weakness, but they don't know the storm that's coming. They don't know what's been brewing beneath your skin, in the depths of your soul, where the fire has been smoldering, waiting, just waiting for the moment to erupt. They have no idea that every smirk, every dismissive glance, every word spoken in doubt has been fuel, stacking up like dry wood, igniting something they will come to regret. You've been cast aside, written off, left for dead. But that was their first mistake. They thought you were soft because you didn't fight back, because you swallowed your rage instead of spitting it in their faces. They thought your silence meant submission, that your patience meant weakness. They thought they had you figured out. But what they didn't realize is that silence is where legends are made. In the quiet, you were sharpening your teeth. In the stillness, you were forging your spine into iron. They underestimated you, and that will be their downfall. You have spent too long in the shadows, watching, waiting, enduring. You've let them believe they had power over you. You let them think their words defined you. You let them think their rejection would break you. But here's the truth. The rejection was your liberation. The betrayal was your awakening. The moment they turned their backs on you, they freed you from the need for their approval. You were never meant to be one of them. You were never meant to fit in. You are not like the rest. You were built for something greater, something they could never comprehend. You were not made to live life at their mercy, begging for scraps of validation. You were made to devour, to conquer, to rise. And now, the time has come. The mask is coming off. The timid version of you, the one who played nice, the one who stayed quiet, the one who let them walk all over you, is dead. You buried that version of yourself in the dirt they tried to leave you in, and in its place, something new has risen. You were a lion in the skin of a lamb, waiting for the day your roar would shake the heavens. And now, that day is here. The world will hear you. The world will see you. And those who doubted you, those who laughed at you, they will learn to fear you. Because you are no longer here to be accepted. You are here to take what's yours. They called you soft, weak, incapable. And for a moment, you believed them. You let their words seep into your skin like poison. Let their doubts become your own. You stared at your reflection and saw what they saw, a person who wasn't enough. You questioned yourself, second-guessed every move, shrank into the shadows, hoping, praying that one day they would see your worth. That one day, they would acknowledge the fire burning inside you. But that day never came. You gave everything, your sweat, your time, your loyalty. You worked harder than them, gave more than them, pushed further than them. And still, they overlooked you. Still, they dismissed you, choosing to celebrate those who never deserved the crown. You sat in silence as they paraded past you, their empty words drowning out your unspoken screams. You told yourself to be patient, to wait your turn, to prove yourself. But no matter how much you bled for them, no matter how much you sacrificed, it was never enough. They never planned to let you win. And then, the betrayal, the knife in the back from hands you once trusted, the ones you called friend, the ones you believed in. They turned on you, smiled in your face while whispering behind your back, watched you struggle and did nothing, used you, drained you, and when they had no more use for you, they discarded you like a forgotten relic of war. And you stood there breathless, heart split open, trying to understand how people could be so cruel, how loyalty could mean nothing, how love could be a lie. So you turned inward, and there, in the silence, you met your true enemy. It wasn't them, it wasn't the world, it was the voice inside your own head, the voice that repeated their insults like a broken record, the voice that asked, what if they were right? What if you really aren't enough? What if you'll always be forgotten? What if you were never meant to rise? Your soul became a battlefield where your past and future waged war. Every moment of doubt, every failure, every time you fell short, it stood against you like an army, surrounding you, choking the breath from your lungs. You wanted to fight back, but the weight of it was too much. The ghosts of your past whispered in your ear, dragging you deeper into the abyss. They told you to stay down, told you that fighting was useless, that maybe, just maybe, this was all you'd ever be, a shadow, a broken thing, a forgotten name in the mouths of the victorious. Each scar on your heart was a chapter of betrayal, written in blood. Every wound held a name, every pain had a story, and for the longest time, you thought that was the end of your story. A tragedy written in ink made of sorrow, signed by the hands of those who never truly saw you. But something inside you stirred, a flicker, a whisper, a reminder that you were never meant to stay in the dirt they left you in. A question echoing through your mind, demanding an answer. Are you going to let this be the end? You thought it was over, the weight of it all. Too much. You felt invisible, unheard, forgotten. You looked at the road ahead and saw nothing but darkness, nothing but endless struggle. Every step forward felt like sinking deeper into quicksand, each movement draining what little strength you had left. You reached out for a hand, for a sign, for something, anything, to remind you that this suffering had a purpose. But no hand came, no voice answered, just silence, just the cold realization that maybe no one was coming to save you. You told yourself to keep going, but the doubts had grown too loud. You had fought, God, you had fought. You had given your heart, your time, your soul, but it never seemed to be enough. Every effort, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, it all felt pointless. You watched as those who had done less, given less, taken shortcuts, and betrayed their way to the top stood victorious. And you were still in the dirt, still bleeding, still waiting for your turn, for justice, for recognition. But what if your turn never came? What if this was all you would ever know? This endless fight, this uphill battle with no end in sight. It felt like drowning, like you had been thrown into the deepest ocean, arms flailing, legs kicking, desperate for air. You kept telling yourself you could make it to the surface, but every time you tried, the waves pushed you down. The cold wrapped around you, seeped into your bone, whispered that maybe you should stop fighting. Maybe it would be easier to just let go. Maybe struggling was the problem. Maybe surrendering to the abyss was the only way to finally find peace. You screamed, but the void swallowed your voice whole. No echoes, no response, just the deafening silence of your own insignificance. You wanted someone to hear you. You wanted someone to care. But the world kept turning, unmoved by your suffering. People walked past you, too busy with their own lives to notice the war raging inside you. And so you shrank further into yourself. You built walls. You locked the doors. You convinced yourself that if no one cared, then maybe you shouldn't either. And that was the most dangerous thought of all. Because when you stop caring, when you stop believing, when you stop hoping, that's when you truly become lost. That's when the abyss wins. You stood at the edge of that darkness, staring into it, feeling it pull at you, whispering sweet nothing, promising relief. And for a moment, a terrifying moment, you considered stepping forward, letting it take you, letting it erase every scar, every pain, every ounce of heartbreak. You wondered if disappearing would be easier than enduring. But something inside you resisted, faint, small, a flicker of something you once knew, a memory of who you used to be before the world broke you, a whisper that cut through the darkness. Is this really how your story ends? But deep inside you, something refused to die, a whisper, a pulse, a quiet defiance that would not be silenced. Beneath the weight of your failures, beneath the ruins of your broken hopes, there was something still burning. Something they could not extinguish, no matter how hard they tried. It was faint, fragile, almost forgotten, but it was there. Beneath the rubble of doubt, a fire still smolders. Beneath the scars, a warrior still breathes. You feel it now, the slow, steady drum of your heartbeat. It is not the sound of surrender. It is not the sound of defeat. It is the sound of a fighter, of a survivor, of someone who has endured hell and still refuses to kneel. It is the anthem of someone who has been underestimated for far too long. And then the realization strikes. The pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to forge you. Every betrayal, every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence, it was sharpening you, carving you into something stronger, something unstoppable. The world did not reject you because you were weak. It tested you because you were meant to be more. The struggle was never a sign that you were failing. It was proof that you were becoming. They buried you, not knowing you were a seed. They thought they had ended you, silenced you, erased you. But they did not realize that darkness is where roots grow deep. That pressure is what turns coal into diamond. That fire does not destroy the strongest. It reveals them. You were never meant to fade away. You were never meant to surrender to the abyss. You were meant to rise. You were meant to break every chain they placed on you, to shatter every expectation they set. They told you that you were nothing, but they were wrong. They told you that you were weak, but they were blind. They told you to stay in your place, to stay small, to stay silent. But now, you see the truth. Every wound you carry is not a mark of shame. It is proof of survival. It is proof that you have walked through fire and emerged, still standing. You are not broken. You are battle-scarred. You are not lost. You are awakening. You are not finished. You are just getting started. And this time, when you rise, the world will not be ready for you. You are not weak. You are not soft. You were never broken. You were being reforged. Every tear, every scar, every sleepless night, they weren't signs of your downfall. They were the furnace, the hammer, the fire shaping you into something unbreakable. The version of you that begged for approval, that shrank to fit in, that waited for permission to rise. That version is dead. You buried them beneath the ashes of your suffering, and in their place, something new is rising, something unstoppable. Fear is a liar. Doubt is a thief. And today, you take back everything they stole. They made you question yourself. They made you believe you weren't enough. But now you see them for what they are. Shadows cast by those too afraid to stand in their own power. Fear told you to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay in line. Doubt whispered that you would fail, that you didn't have what it takes. But now, their voices grow weaker as yours grows stronger. Now you realize they never had any real power, except the power you gave them. And you're done handing over your strength. Your pain didn't break you, it awakened you. The fire inside you was never gone. It was only waiting for the moment you would stop running from it, waiting for the moment you would stop apologizing for who you are, waiting for the moment you would step into your own power and unleash everything you were always meant to be. And now, that moment has come. They underestimated you. They laughed. They doubted. They turned their backs. But now they will regret ever thinking you were nothing, because you are no longer here to prove yourself to them. You are no longer here to seek their approval. You are here to take what's yours, to show them that the one they ignored, the one they cast aside, the one they left for dead, is the one who will rise beyond their reach. The beast within you stretches its claws. It remembers who you are. It remembers the power you once had before they convinced you to hide it. The rage they mistook for weakness, the fire they told you to dim. It was never meant to be tamed. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand tall, to walk into every room like you own it, to move through this world with the confidence of someone who knows they are destined for more. You feel it now, don't you? The shift, the hunger, the power you spent years denying. It is yours. It was always yours. And now, there is no force on this earth that can take it from you again. No more waiting, no more silence, no more shrinking to make others comfortable. The time for hesitation is over. The time for seeking approval has passed. Now it's time to take what's yours. You are no longer the person they once knew. the one who begged for scraps of validation, the one who questioned their worth. That version of you has been burned away in the fire of everything you've endured. In its place stands someone fearless, someone relentless, someone unapologetically strong. You are no longer asking if you are enough. You know you are. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are taking what was always meant to be yours. And now it's time to confront the past, to stare down the demons that once haunted you. Look them in the eye, the ones who doubted you, the ones who laughed, the ones who whispered behind your back, who mocked your struggle, who celebrated your failures. Feel the shift in the air. Feel the fear in their bones as they realize, too late, that they were wrong about you, that they should have never counted you out, because the person standing before them now is not the one they tried to break. The person standing before them is the storm they never saw coming. You owe them nothing, no explanations, no apologies. Let them feel the weight of their own regret. Let them drown in the knowledge that they will thus never have power over you again. But this isn't about them. This has never been about them. This is about you, about the life you're about to reclaim, about the power you're about to unleash. So tell me, are you ready? Are you ready to step into your power? Or will you let them keep defining you? This is your moment, your reckoning. The world will never be the same after today, because after today, you are unstoppable. You're no longer a whisper in the wind. You are the storm they never prepared for, a wildfire that will not be contained, a force that answers to no one. They tried to break you, tried to silence you, tried to bury you beneath their doubt, their ridicule, their betrayal. But all they did was forge something they cannot control. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need them to see your worth, because you finally see it for yourself. And that is the greatest revenge of all. Not anger, not destruction, but success. The kind of success that echoes so loudly they cannot ignore it. The kind of success that turns their laughter into silence, their arrogance into regret. You were never soft. You were never weak. You were never fragile. You were waiting for the moment to rise, waiting for the moment to reclaim everything they said you could never have. And now, that moment is here. They once thought you were soft. Now they pray they never cross you again. Let them whisper. Let them watch. Let them doubt you one last time. Because soon, they will understand the mistake they made. Soon they will see the fire they tried to extinguish burn brighter than ever before. Let them pretend you are still the same. Let them cling to their illusions. It won't matter, because when you rise, and you will rise, there will be nothing they can do to stop you. But this isn't about them. It never was. This is about you, about stepping into your power, about becoming everything they said you couldn't be. No more waiting, no more hesitating, no more living by their rule. Rise now. This is your time. No more excuses, no more fear, no more looking back. The road ahead is yours to take. The battle is yours to win. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not your past. You are the reckoning they never saw coming. Now go and make the world remember your name.